Hi guys, Coach Abby back at it again with another trainer tip. We are moving up the body for our mobility and stability days. And next up, we're talking about our shoulders. So our shoulder muscles include our deltoid, our biceps brachii, our rotator cuff muscles, which is a group of muscles, the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, the teres minor, and the subscapularis. It also includes our trap muscles as well as our rhomboids. So the shoulder, just like the hip, is a ball and socket joint. What that means is it's super mobile. It involves flexion, extension, external and internal rotation, abduction and adduction, as well as our scapula specifically can do protraction, retraction, they can elevate, and they can also depress. So we're going to go through some mobility movements, and then we're going to talk about how you can strengthen that shoulder joint. So the first thing mobility-wise that we're going to do is flossing or circles with that PVC pipe. So when doing this, you want to make sure that your first move is a shrug or an elevation of the scapula, and then we're going up and over. You're going to feel this in your shoulders as well as a little bit into that chest. I sometimes feel it down into my elbow. Okay, but we're just going to work on those rotations. Right now my hands are in a pronated position. However, I can also do this from a supinated position as well. Okay. Again, you want to still start with that shrug. Depending on how flexible you are, your hands might be a little bit wider. Okay, that's a little less tension. All right, the more flexible you get, the closer they can do full rotations. However, this is not something that you guys want to push. We're just getting that movement, that circular movement, a little bit better within that socket. Okay. The next thing we can do involving circles would be a quadruped circle. So I'm going to show you guys from the side view, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be on all fours and I'm going to be doing circles, shrugging, going back, and moving in this position. So I'm here. Making big circles. I'm pulling down, up, and around. Same thing going back. Just opening up that shoulder joint. Next up, we are going to do some wall slides. So from here, you're going to be using a wall. You're going to stand elbows on the wall here, and we're just sliding those hands up, getting that nose and chest closer to the wall, and then back down, up, and back down. Keeping those elbows on that wall if you can. This is helping make sure that your shoulder blade is tracking appropriately, going up and down. And then the last one that we can do some scarecrows. There's a couple ways that these can be done. You can do this at the wall where you go up. Right now my elbow, my hand, and my shoulder blade are touching the wall. From here I'm going to rotate my hands, and now I still want to have contact shoulder blades, elbows, and hands, and then I'm going to push up. Okay, back down, tracing the same steps. The goal is to be at about 90 degrees here, going down, rotating, and here. You might think that you need some weights for these, but this is actually pretty challenging without weights as well, okay? Another way that you can do this is focusing more on the top half. So starting with those arms out here, we're gonna pull back. So we're retracting those shoulder blades. I'm then going to elevate into 90, could be a little higher, okay? And then from here, I'm going to make sure that I press up ahead. Same thing on the way down, we're going to depress, Okay, from here, protract, forward. Here, up, back down, here, squeezing together. So, those are our mobility exercises. For strength, okay, the first thing that we can do is a Scap Push-Up, all right? So, from the wall, actually, I'll show you guys. You'll see the backs of my shoulder blades right now are pressed through my shirt. What I'm gonna do from here is I'm just gonna push shoulders back and together so that now my two shoulder blades are squeezing together in the back. I'm gonna push them away and then together. So I'm here, in, pressing away and out. In, away and out. All right. It's best to start on the wall so you can get a feeling for what that is gonna feel like in your shoulders, and then you can progress to more of a push-up position for those Scap push-ups as well. I'm gonna start on my knees to show you guys here, but I'm gonna start pushing away from the floor. My shoulders are rounded, and from here I'm going to sink my chest, and those shoulder blades come together at the top. It's a very small movement. My elbows stay locked out, together, and press. Sink down, squeeze together, push away, shoulder blades separate. The next thing we can do involves a band. This can be done at the gym or if you have a band at home. We're gonna do some band pull apart. So just like we had the PVC pipe earlier, I'm pronated right now, which means my palms are down to the ground. Okay, what I'm gonna do to start is I'm gonna make sure that those shoulder blades are set. When I say set your shoulder blades, I mean from a standing position, up, back, and down. That's when they're really locked into place. Okay, so from here, my lats are activated and I'm squeezing those shoulder blades together in the back, okay? So you might be able to see from my t-shirt, together in the back. I want to try and isolate those shoulder blades by getting them set before I start that exercise. Another way to target those muscles in a different manner would be to go supinated, which is when your palms are up. So we're here, pull apart. Try not to shrug, set those shoulder blades down, squeezing them apart. I can tell that my left shoulder blade activates a lot better than my right shoulder blade. You might find something similar here with your shoulders. A variation of this, we can go here to diagonals. Take it nice and slow. All right, another variation, which is one of my personal favorites, involves external rotation of that shoulder blade. So we're going in our supinated position here. I'm gonna pin my elbows to my side, and we're gonna go out, squeeze, and back in. So this is working on external rotation here, and as you come in, if you're fighting against that band, that resistance, you're gonna have a little bit of internal rotation as well. This is gonna be a little bit of a smaller movement because your elbows are pinned, okay? All right, for this next one, I'm gonna have you guys lay down on your belly. We're gonna do this with thumbs up, all right? And I want you to really focus on not using your trap muscles up top. We're gonna be squeezing that shoulder blade together. So we're also gonna take our eyes and our face down to the ground so there's not any unnecessary tension in our neck. So the first one that I'm gonna do is in the shape of an I. So I'm nice and long, and I'm gonna go here. Working on using those smaller muscles within my shoulder. Again, this is an I because I'm in the shape of an I, or my arms make the shape of an I with my body. Next up, I'm gonna go a little bit wider, okay, to a Y. So here, Again, my thumbs stay high. I'm activating those shoulder blades. Next up, I'm gonna go even wider and I'm gonna go into my T. And then finally, I'm gonna make a field goal with my arm. So my elbows are bent, I've got 90 degrees here, and I'm gonna be lifting from my hand all the way to my elbow, squeezing those shoulder blades together like so. So one thing to note is that those I's, Y's, and T's can be done on the floor unweighted. They can be done on the floor weighted. They can be done on a stability ball or a bench, and they can also be done with a TRX strap as well. Next up, one of my personal favorites is going to be an overhead carry. So if you've got a kettlebell, there's a couple ways we can do this. The first one we talk about will just be a hold. So I'm here, okay? My kettlebell is directly above my shoulder joint, which is where I'm most stable. My elbow is locked out. I'm covering my ear at full extension. My core is tight, and as always, my glutes are squeezed. I'm fired up into the ground, okay? And I'm just holding here. If you wanted to make this a little more challenging, you could hold something else, maybe a little heavier in this bottom arm as well. You can just hold for time. If you want to make this a little more challenging, you can go bottom side up on the kettlebell. Same thing, arm is extended right above shoulder here, elbows locked out, and my ear is covered by my bicep. My abs are on, my glutes are squeezed, and I am stuck in the floor. Another variation of this hold is our waiter's carry. So similar to a waiter carrying a tray right here, we have our kettlebell waiter's carry. So 90 degrees, we're gonna go out at 45 here, and we're stabilizing that kettlebell. You can see from a front view. Breathe, core tight, glutes on. And all that's gonna do is that's gonna work on stabilizing. It's an isometric hold. You're stabilizing all those tiny muscles that you might not feel in another exercise just by holding something under tension. The last strengthening exercises we have can be done with a dumbbell. I'm gonna show them with no weight today, but we have lateral raises. So I'm gonna be here, arms at 90, and I'm just gonna lift up to shoulder height. Okay, I'm trying not to shrug. Instead, I'm moving that shoulder blade here. If I was holding weights and I wanted to make that a little more challenging, I could also extend my arms out to the side. That's gonna take that weight farther away from my body, which is gonna put more tension on my elbow and my shoulder here. I can also do a front raise, okay? Just like I did with my eyes. This can be done banded, this can be done with a dumbbell. Only going to the height of that shoulder. If you are gonna hold a weight, oftentimes we like to release it here and catch nice and slow on the way down. Similar to something would look like this. So you're stabilizing on the way down as well. Another exercise that can be done on a bench or just freestanding RR Fly. So here, I'm gonna hinge, I'm gonna take those hands here, and I'm gonna squeeze those shoulder blades back together. I can do this with arms that are long, like so. Or I can also go in a field goal formation. Right here. So that's all we got for shoulder mobility and stability. Really important because it is a ball and socket. There is a lot of movement going on, which includes a lot of tiny muscles that you might not know about. You might not be able to activate. You might not be able to feel them. So these exercises are great for making sure that we stay safe, we are mobile, and we're stable as we do lots of other things in the gym. Stick with it, give it a try. Next week, if you're looking forward to our next video, we are gonna talk about knee strengthening as well as thoracic mobility. So we're gonna pair those two together and it'll be great. See you next week on Trainer Tip.